This conference will now be recorded.
The time is now 6:30 p.m. and I will call to order the Tilton Planning Board meeting for Tuesday, October 26th, 2021. And I will start by introducing ourselves with the members of the Planning Board. I'll start on my left.
Tom Damon.
Jane Alden, I'm the chair.
Frederick Senna, Vice Chair.
Christine Dembitsky.
John Scanlon. Okay,
The first order of business is a minor subdivision for Brad and Vicky Ewings. It's Planning Board Case 21-17 at 34 Silver Lake Road, map R10, lot 34. It's a proposed two-lot subdivision to create a new lot consisting of 2.17 acres, leaving the existing lot with 4.17 acres. And I'll make a motion to bring the application to the table for discussion. For a second? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Okay.
I make a motion to accept the application as substantially complete.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay. All right. Would you like to make the presentation?
Sure would. Sorry, I don't have an easel with me, but
Oh, we have one.
We
if
have
you
one.
want. Maybe need one.
so for the record, my name is Dan Mullen. I'm the surveyor for Vicky and Brad Ewing.
If you
Okay,
could,
you'll have to
if you
say it in
could
the
sign in right there
Right.
on the table. There's a form there to sign.
Just put it on the agenda list here.
Mhm. Thought there was a place to sign. Okay.
Leanne, can I ask you a question before we start?
Of course,
What's the minimum acreage dry in his zone?
it is,
I don't have my.
it's 100 feet of frontage and 20,000, I believe, square feet.
Yeah.
20,000, I think.
Yes, that's correct.
Yeah, I think.
20,000 and 100. Not counting the wetlands.
Right.
Okay, so as I stated, my name is Dan Mullen, licensed land surveyor, and representing Brad and Vicky Ewens. And they live at 34 Silver Lake Road. And they're in a mixed-use zone, and their intention here is to subdivide one lot off of an existing 6.2 acre lot. The lot to be subdivided is 2.17 acres, leaving a remainder of 4.12 acres. And we have given the minimum frontage to the left-hand side of the existing building that's there. But the access to the 2 acre lot is intended to be on the right side of the existing dwelling. There's currently
This is the existing.
a 50-foot wide curb cut there, and the applicant intends to have a 25-foot easement to get to the back lot, leaving the additional 25 feet for the existing building that's there. So there's plenty of room for a 2-car width to park where they're used to parking. They have access to municipal water and sewer, and there is a pending wetlands crossing application at the Hampshire DES. It's still in the works right now. And other than that, it's pretty straightforward proposal.
Where's the wetlands crossing?
It's going to be right here where the access comes across.
Okay.
There's a pathway there now. They're just going to make it into it.
Why is there wetland crossing there?
There's an existing pathway that goes to the cleared area in the back. And they want to do a proposed driveway coming up here, using an existing curb cut. And the idea is to not break the curb that's already there. So the driveway would come up here and just cut across. This wetland crosses the whole lot.
Right.
So they got to cross somewhere to get to this point here. So that's what they're doing, is that where there's an existing path, they're just going to increase that to make it a driveway.
Why, they want to get in there, they're going to build back here?
Have you had a wetland scientist look at this?
Yes, he's the one that delineated the wetlands, and he's filed the application at the state, which is pending now.
Is it stamp on here?
Not
No.
yet, the final plan will have it.
Okay. Who is the wetland scientist?
It's Spencer Tate from Meridian Land Services. I believe it's in the wetland notes.
It looks like they were close here.
Where's lot 34?
This is the original.
I'm sorry, his name is not there, but I will put it in there.
Why is this part of it? Just what they want to do?
They need road frontage,
Uh,
but they're putting the driveway here.
Yeah.
With an easement, you're gonna have an
Yeah.
easement?
25-foot access easement
Is that wide enough?
for a 2-lane driveway.
Not for a 2-lane.
No, for a regular driveway, it's going to single-family house, a standard driveway.
So you have a single family house over here, but their driveway is gonna be accessed through a different lot? They don't own?
No, they own both. The Ewens own this entire lot.
Well, I understand that, but once they
Once they subdivide.
subdivide it,
right.
they won't,
They're going to have an easement across this lot.
I understand, but they own both lots now, but
Right.
they'll become 2 separate lots and they could sell a lot.
Yeah.
They could sell, the right?
Yep.
Can I say something?
It's up to the board. Okay, go ahead.
Can you wait a minute till we'll open it up to the public and then,
She's the owner though.
oh,
Yeah,
okay.
we're gonna open it.
That's all right, just 1 minute.
Okay.
Are you not doing the curb cut now? Because, I mean, are you doing it because you don't want to have to do another curb cut?
No, she has 2 permits, but they want to leave the curb alone and just use the existing curb cut that's there.
Okay, all right.
So,
You need to come to the microphone, please.
sorry.
And identify yourself, please.
You can pull another chair up if it
Oh,
makes
that's
it
okay.
easier.
I don't mind seeing. My name is Vicki Ewens. I'm the property owner. And our plan is to have my daughter, which my grandchildren and her husband, build a house back there. So we have no plans on changing names or anything. The lot is going to still be in mine and my husband's name. They're just going to build the second house up there and live there. And like I said, we're not going to sell that piece of property. We don't have any reason to sell the property. We just want my grandkids to have a home. So we thought that would be a good spot for them. And
Right. And I guess my only point, if I can, Jane, is, I understand that, and a lot of people want to do that, but there's nothing that, once this is approved, from precluding you. You're not bound to not sell it. You can sell it. You could need the money. They could not want to live there. And a million things can happen. So I
Right.
mean, that legally, there's 2 separate lots. could be, there's nothing that ties the families together on the lots, other than you just, your plan's not to keep it in the family. But, once it's 2 lots, the board has to look at it as 2 independent lots. In the future, that 2 different owners could own these 2 lots. You could sell both of them.
Well, we don't have an issue adding my daughter and her husband onto.
Yeah, it does, that's kind of irrelevant whose name's on it. It's just sale
For
is.
all intents and purposes, if we were to approve this,
Mhm.
it would be 2 separate lots.
Right.
Okay, regardless of who lives there. It's
Okay.
2 separate lots, okay?
Let's go ahead.
Is she able to build a house in the back and have 2 houses on the same lot?
No.
it's not Oh,
At one point, Albert LaPlante did say that without subdividing, that I could
I want to see what's on there again.
build 2 houses on my 1 lot.
Yeah.
But he suggested the subdivision. Is, because I checked with Albert.
You're in mixed use?
Mhm.
You can have 2 houses on one lot.
that would negate the subdivision if that was.
You can have 2 dwellings on one lot in mixed use.
And then you know how the separation issues.
You still need a crossing.
Yeah.
That's all that would be needed, right?
They need a driveway.
If we're using the existing curb cut, do we need a driveway permit? Is there a
Still need a
change?
driveway permit.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Which I did have. I have actually 2 driveways.
okay.
That's a pretty big piece of work that's across.
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
How wide is it?
Mr. Mullen,
Yes.
can you give us an approximate
25 or whatever.
square footage of the wetlands you're gonna have to mitigate to put the driveway in?
I don't know what the design is on that, so the
Yeah.
wetland scientist would have to give me that information.
So are you relying on a wetland scientist to give you an approximate amount of wetlands you're gonna have to mitigate, or you're gonna go by his guidance?
Yeah, whatever he has to impact,
Yeah, okay.
And that, I assume that's on the permit, that the requested permit that's with the, is that correct? With
Yeah,
the,
it's not a
no.
very big area that he has to, because it's already cleared all the way up there. It's just like a little stream that goes through and everything's already marked and he has, we're waiting on the permits from the state.
What is there anything certified on what the exact size of the wetlands are at present, what they're tonight?
the square footage of the wetlands there? No, I haven't.
And it's
calculated
not, nothing of a mapped wetlands? with
that.
you tonight?
Those are map wetlands from,
That's from USGS.
no, this is actually delineated by a wetland scientist. We located the flagging. So he checked the
Kind of have to
soils.
have the stamp on it. and sign.
Right, and we will get that for the final plan.
So you're not looking for an approval tonight?
If we can get an approval, we'd like that, yes, but
It's
I know you
gonna
might
need
want to
that,
consider
sign
having conservation
wetlands
with that if you do,
Yeah, I definitely want conservation to look at it.
with the crossing.
Yeah.
I didn't know it had a crossing. I apologize. I thought this was, you were looking to build up front here in this 20-foot setback. It says 20, 20, 20. I thought this was the.
Oh.
Any other
I know
comments from
wetland
the
scientists. I
planning
didn't think it was.
Well,
I think we need to send them to conservation for sure.
yeah, and get a copy of the actual certified wetlands.
right, and that's something we didn't have in hand yet.
Yeah.
It was submitted and still pending as of Thursday, so.
But you should have a copy if it's been sent to DES.
Right, and he's supposed to be getting that to me.
Because I think all of us have some real concerns about the wetlands area.
Now, is there supposed to be a space between a driveway and a boundary to another property? Isn't that we ran into
Well,
that up on Pest House Road.
We got into that and,
They got a variance because the neighbor
right, you do have a setback.
said they
from-
were okay with it.
Yeah,
Right,
I don't remember what that.
we do have a
distance
setback.
was.
It's
15 feet?
20 or 15,
Something
I
like
think
that.
it's 20,
20 maybe.
20, I
setback.
believe, my recollection.
I was going to ask too, Tom. This is right up against the property.
I have all that on my phone. I don't know if they can.
Yeah.
It's like almost crossing over.
I'm not comfortable.
So approved.
So should they go to zoning then?
To the buffer.
Not for a subdivision.
They- it's not for subdivision. They need for the conservation.
Oh, this isn't the
And we
buffer.
need to see an
The wetlands, yeah.
Wetlands.
All right, wait a second.
But maybe the wetland scientist would have more
Would
information.
there be in the
No,
same
it's all
ownership? Do we need the
But I don't
variance
know,
also?
not exceed the family member.
Okay, so we do have the amount of impact.
I don't think I think they didn't realize. that-
According to the
Well, she said she-
wetland scientists,
I think,
Sorry.
I think.
the impact there is 2,196 square feet. So less than
2,198 square feet.
96 square feet.
96.
96.
Yeah.
But
In which
we look
lot?
for the amount of wetlands, the mapped wetlands on both lots.
That I don't have calculated, but I can.
But by the wetland scientist, he would do that.
No,
He'd map
as
it.
far as the amount of area that whole wetland covers, I can calculate that. And he's just giving me the impact, which is 2196 square feet. I'm not sure if he has total wetland area on here or not.
Now, are you opposed to not subdividing and just building a second house in the back? Or are you set on subdividing?
I wasn't, yeah.
Did
I
you know that you
wasn't.
could do that without
Yes, I
subdividing?
did, because I spoke with Albert Lipsdale about that. And I wasn't gonna subdivide, but Albert said it would be in our best interest to subdivide. I don't know why, but
Well, it's in your best interest because then you can sell the house.
Yeah.
Yeah,
If you have two
just,
houses, you never
he
can
just,
sell it.
he just said that in case something happened down the road that you may need to do that
Without selling both
without
properties.
selling as one lot. I know that doesn't impact you right now, but he was just leaving that door open. I'm guessing.
so yeah, no, I don't have to subdivide the lot, but if we can, then
In any event, you're gonna have to look into what you're mitigating on the wetlands for the driveway, the proposed driveway.
yeah, that's what we're waiting on Spencer
Yeah, so,
and the permit.
and I did have a little concern about your driveway and as adjacent to your pool area.
Oh, that pool's leaving.
Oh, it's going?
Oh,
Okay.
Yes, we're getting it.
Okay.
okay.
And the other one concern is your fence line as it, on your play area.
Okay,
Is that on the property line or is it in your property?
no, it's in my property.
Okay.
It's
How much of it is in your property?
A lot.
I think the entire thing is.
The whole fence is.
Well, on the proposed line is on the subdivision here. You have your lot line
Talking
coming
about this
here,
way
where
here.
where
Yeah,
it's
looks like
touching
it's
the
kind of-
fence.
yeah.
kind of.
Yeah,
Over
but
the corner.
on the proposed subdivision, it's actually right on the,
Goes right through.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
right on the very corner.
right on the very
Yeah.
corner of it.
Yeah.
That's what is proposed.
So this play area is on the remaining.
I realize that, but
But
if,
it's
when
setback.
on the subdivision, it wouldn't, you have to have a buffer there.
You have to be within the setback of 20 feet.
Setback.
So the fence has to be,
20 feet.
You have to
be-
I think it
20
is.
feet.
I believe that it is.
the proposed line though goes right against the corner of the fence as it is now.
Is the
They're
play
saying-
area just dirt or what's the play area made of?
Yeah,
Grass?
it's just sand.
It's just sand.
Oh,
Yeah.
Fenced in.
It's
A
not
chain-
paved?
It's just a chain link fence with sand.
Oh.
and toys,
Oh, yeah.
yeah, plenty of toys. How many grandkids?
I have 3.
Nice.
This is a daycare.
Yeah, I have a daycare.
Oh, I see, I see.
So that's what they plan.
Okay,
Okay.
okay. Oh, I know where the property is. Okay. 20-foot wetland buffer. I don't know.
See, I think we all have real concerns with the wetlands. And that's why I'm
You know, the location of the driveway, there's a setback from a bordering property You can't have it right next to the neighbor's property.
Is that just to the edge of pavement for the driveway or? Because the lines that are on there are just the easement line and not the actual width of the driveway.
What's the width of the driveway?
I
If they're just the easement lines,
The
if you're
setback?
proposing something that isn't there.
I'd have to pull the driveway regs, but I know you're right, because we had this, we've already been down this road with the setbacks in the driveway,
Yeah.
right? And wasn't Pest House, was it Cole? It was Caleb?
It was Colby, wasn't it?
Caleb.
Caleb?
It
Oh,
was Caleb.
yeah.
Where it goes up.
Caleb.
It was Caleb. It
Where
was
Tyler
Caleb
wanted to
because
put it
Tyler-
on Range.
Tyler.
You
it
want
was
on
Tyler.
Range Road?
We've had three
Can I
that have
see
been
that?
issues.
You
We
don't have
had
your
Pest
glasses in
House,
there?
one on Colby, and then Tyler's on them.
Oh, no, you can go right ahead. It's not long.
So this is the third one we've had. That's why we're,
Let's get it right, all right?
yeah.
God, He has a bunch
So
of
should
stuff
we
on
just
here that
continue this till they get what we need?
Yeah.
You want to provide them a list? or-
Yeah, well, I think we need them for the conservation,
Wetlands report.
wetland, with the wetland scientist report.
Yeah, wetlands,
Right to the sketch part, see if it
commission.
shows.
The map wetlands on the map.
We want to see the map,
Wetlands map, and those are three things.
all setbacks,
I don't know.
will be moved, because it doesn't mean they will move it.
Yeah. I
The
think-
Silver Lake a town road?
So all setbacks.
It's a city at
State road.
Road is.
Yeah,
Oh, it's like,
State Road.
okay, so
so
We have to pay for it.
wetlands,
Right.
Why is it a state?
Everything in. Tilton.
I'm gonna open it to the public. to see if they
oh,
come.
okay.
All right, I'm gonna close it right now to the planning board and open to the public. Is there anybody from the public who would like to make any comments? Your name and your address,
My
please.
name is Raymond Mauch, Mauch,
Hi, Raymond.
25 Silver Lake Road. And I don't see a big issue with the wetlands thing if the house at 40 Silver Lake Road, the guy built, which was all wetlands, and he probably put 10 or 12, 10-wheeler loads of stuff in there and filled it all in. But that's neither here nor there. The next door house, to me, 20 is fine, but there's a lot in between there that the guy's been trying to sell. Dennis, you can maybe fill his last name in. Dennis
DeWalga.
DeWalga. That's all wetlands in the back, but no one's been trying to stop him there trying to sell a property, other than the fact that it's only 13,780 feet and it's supposed to be 20, excuse me?
I said, well, he could sell it. I mean, he can
You
sell
can
it,
sell it, but he's trying to put a house in there.
but he has failed.
I know, both times, I agree.
Okay.
And I
Okay, just so
applaud you for doing that. Thank you very much. I've lived 42 years at my property. If there's wetlands there, it can't be a quarter of the size of this room because I go back and forth there in the old days with my dog and stuff, hiking back there. So it's not like it's a wetlands area that's huge.
No, it's like this little stream that runs through.
Yeah. So anyway,
Well,
thank you for your time.
That's why it's important for us to see the wetland scientist, because you can't go by how it looks as to whether it's wetlands or not.
I understand. Thank you for your
Okay,
time.
thank you. All right, I'm gonna close it to the public if there's no more comments. Bring back to the planning board. I think we need to continue this and, with the following conditions, we need to see the wetland scientist.
Are you making a motion, Jim?
Yeah, I'll make a motion with these conditions that we see the
Wetlands map.
wetlands map.
Do you want to go to conservation?
Yeah, but it's gonna be in my
We have to vote,
conditions,
yeah.
okay. A wetlands map.
Mhm.
That you go to the Conservation Commission,
And you need the permit from the state.
and we need a permit from the state.
And I believe all of that is in the works. We're just waiting on,
The Conservation Commission too?
I believe Spencer's doing,
Uh,
yeah, he's doing all of that.
Great.
Great then, okay. And if
All the
you,
setbacks,
and then all the setbacks,
the pool, the fence,
the
the
pool and
driveway.
the pool fence and everything is according to the ordinance, town ordinance, and the subdivision plan.
I don't understand why they would put that right up to that fence line.
Just because you needed the 100.
Okay, we need to know that before we can approve anything. So those 4 conditions,
And you want to know the total wetland? Did you say that? John wants to-
well, that would should be on the map from the wetland scientist. The map from the wetland scientist should include the total acreage of wetlands.
And I can put that on the subdivision.
Okay.
plan, Easy enough.
And we'll continue it to our next meeting, which is,
What's today?
Next time, right?
Today's the 26th.
well, that's the date, that I want to make sure we have.
Well, it won't be the 9th because the conservation doesn't meet.
They meet on Mondays,
Yeah, so it'll probably be the 23rd of November.
okay.
November 20th.
Is there a
Okay.
second on that motion?
I'll second that.
All in favor? Aye.
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 Okay. So we'll
Thank
see
you,
you
guys.
on the 23rd.
All right, yeah.
Oh, man. Listen to it.
The conceptual for both. Yeah.
Thank you.
Explain
Thank you.
So there's a,
it. For,
there's a couple copies of the Volta. I made 2 copies, then the machine broke, so I think I have one.
Okay, let me see.
Yeah. They put them over by Dusty Donuts, I think, now.
2 pages
No, it's 20 pages.
each?
No, that's all yours. That's a packet.
Oh, that's
Okay.
There's
mine?
3 copies. There's
And
one
you're gonna share
there.
it with me.
John has
Oh,
one.
I
and
won't
yours.
read that.
Okay. Moving right along, our next is a conceptual with Volta for installation of 12 EVCS units at the existing Tanger outlet site. And remember, this is a conceptual, okay? Floor is yours.
Thank you, members of the board. My name is Michael Hirschberg. I am with Volta Charging as their engineering project manager for New England. I have with me Eric Crew from the Tanger outlets. Just a little bit of information on Volta. Volta is an electric vehicle charging infrastructure company. We are very much about changing the way drivers behave in the sense that most drivers will charge their vehicles at home overnight. And when they're charging overnight, we are basically trying to be in areas where people are spending their time. So with Tanger Outlets, we've formed a partnership that is starting to spread nationwide. So with the Tanger Outlet site here in New Hampshire, obviously we're here in the Lakes region with Winnipesaukee and a lot of other tourism that comes through, as well as ski country, of course. So the way we operate is we use an electronic messaging board with each of our stations, which covers the cost of maintenance, installation, et cetera, to just kind of cover the costs of keeping our stations clear of everything. And so the way we're going about this installation is we're trying to utilize parking islands to the greatest extent that we can for our installations. And we're also trying to make sure that our stations are protected, given, of course, that we are in New Hampshire with snow and plows and everything else that come through. So we are placing bollards around the stations in order to just make sure that they are well protected. The way we also operate is we're operating with 2 types of charging installations. So we have 8 fast chargers. So those power up at about 480 volts. That's what it's feeding off of. The others are what are known as the L2 stations, which is that lower charge. That's typically what people have in their homes. That is obviously just much more of like a slower operation. And When we install the DC fast, we have a remote disconnect, which is, obviously for safety purposes, and we give that information to the fire department to ensure that if there were ever an issue, they could very quickly turn the stations off. To date, we have not, knock on wood, had any installation issues as far as our DC fast stations. So we do make sure that we are protecting them, and we make sure that we are closely monitoring them for safety concerns. So to just kind of discuss a little bit about how our installation will work, I'll talk a little bit about traffic. So with installing the 12 stations, of course, if you look at, I believe it's the second page, you have it up there, of the plans, you'll be able to see exactly where we're installing each of the stations. You'll see the red lines feeding from the electrical rooms out to each area. So those are going in areas where, of course, if they're at the end of a parking island or at the end of a row, they're trying to be as least disruptive as possible, especially given that we are now approaching the holiday season. We're working very closely, of course, Eric is here with Tanger Outlets to ensure that we do not impact holiday travel. And we are going to make sure that we meet the holiday blackout period and not be constructing when many people are flowing through the Tanger Outlets parking lot. So, and ultimately, I mean, we'll talk a little bit about just how the site's going to change. I mean, certainly we're putting up these electronic messaging boards. They are designed to be as least distracting as possible. They are hard to see from the public right of way. I won't say that they're completely disguised, but they stand at about 7 feet tall. If the parking lot is full, they are very hard to see. And so really, and what those electronic messaging boards are designed for is to just be covering the drive aisle, but not be a distraction to other drivers. And we also do not discriminate against any gas vehicles that wish to park in our spaces. Typically our charging striping, if you look further into the construction drawing state, just EV charging. So if a gas vehicle were to pull up and want to park, they're more than welcome to. We're not going to police it. Certainly that's not in our interest to deprive any parking spaces. We would be occupying 12 of the 1,213 spaces that are already on Tanger's property. And can I answer any questions at all? I know I'm spewing a lot of information.
I have a concern.
Yes.
These stations that are behind, what is this, Five Guys?
Yeah, you got Five Guys, Starbucks, and Uno's that are in the front.
This is a very congested area
Very
along
busy.
with right behind Old Navy. I don't know how that's gonna work. It's a horrible, because they added the Starbucks, made it even worse.
Yeah, maybe moving them towards the
back.
more closer to the road and these parking spaces here.
Okay, closer to the road.
Yeah, because those are less used than the ones in the front.
Yeah, this one might be okay because it's on the other side of the greenery.
Only thing is with that one, it might block, we might not be able to see cars coming
Yeah.
through.
There's two behind Old Navy.
How tall are the units?
7 feet.
7 feet.
7 feet. Yeah. That would be the
I know
only,
these
only other one is the one across from the Starbucks building. Might block the line of sight.
Starbucks.
Is this one here too?
That's the powerhouse.
Oh, okay.
Do you mind if I approach so I can just see?
Yeah, of course.
Thanks.
So it's, you got these units here,
Yeah.
probably be better suited in this area here.
Okay.
That's a very-
And then this one here could be blocking line of sight for the car going down this way.
So I guess my question, just back to the planning board, is there less concern about having them be seen from the public right of way?
No,
That's okay.
It's a congestion in that
very,
area.
very-
Okay.
Yeah.
And I don't know whether you've been there when it's like on a weekend.
No.
It's horrible. I was there today. I went
They can
to
go back.
the candy store.
Mhm.
It was fine today. I mean, but this is a Tuesday.
Mhm.
But if you go there on a weekend, it is
lunchtime to 4.
almost,
Yeah.
it's unbelievable.
Got it.
Is everybody's running in Starbucks or?
It would seem like it'd be more beneficial for you to put them in the road, you get more people on them and
Very
less of a headache for everybody.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, happy to do
I
that.
wonder how, Eric, do you agree with that?
No, unfortunately, I don't. I live and breathe it every day, and it's only select timeframes throughout the course of the day. And
I'm just sorry, Eric, do you mind just speaking in the mic? Because we have somebody
Sure.
transcribing from the video. as
Sure.
well.
So my name is Eric. Last name is Prue, General Manager of the Tanger Outlets in Tilton. And I have more of a concern moving these two specific units that we're concerned about to the roadway due to the amount of salt that is used on Laconia Road. Over time, they're going to deteriorate at a much faster rate, and I'm not sure who would want to be responsible for those replacements. I will tell you that just because it's the busiest part of our parking lot,
Even
I
with
would-
the I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Even with the buffer of the.
Yes,
the land
we have
buffer there?
replaced light poles through the years because of
Okay,
that.
okay.
Yep.
Is there another place you would propose aside from those two locations?
Not necessarily. I mean, if anything, maybe to the right or the left of the handicap spots that are towards the front. So they're parallel to the drive lane coming in versus perpendicular to their placement.
Oh, you mean in front of like the Starbucks area? On this map here. So you mean like right in this area here?
Yeah, so that's handicap. Put them both right there.
Okay.
That would be an alternate suggestion. Moving them here is not a good idea.
How about in this area here?
Nope, these are assigned to Uno's parking per their lease.
Okay, okay,
So they have, to be honest with you, they have over 100 spots over here.
okay.
So we're trying to alleviate that congestion over there by putting them here. But if anything, a slight deviation towards the entrance.
That would be better than here.
There's no sightline problems. There's no concerns. I mean, outside of the occasional situation, depending on weekend or whatever, you have to remember this is COVID times.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
a lot of people are using drive-through versus interior cafe.
I just know
restaurant.
that as
So-
a planning board, we've gotten complaints about what idiots plan that parking, you know, and that driving.
Yeah.
That's why I was saying that.
Well, it's worth noting that we're driving commerce to Tilton, so it's
Okay.
very, very helpful, very beneficial. And those two particular retailers are the top in the state of New
Right.
Hampshire.
Exactly, yeah.
What's good to know about the salt?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's the
thought about
total
that.
number of units that are going in?
Well,
12 total, yeah, and there's 1,232 parking spots. So we're not taking away parking, we're just modifying slightly.
is your company have any other
Yeah, no.
in the state of New Hampshire?
So we have proposals down, approach the mic again. We have proposals down in Manchester at the Hannaford.
But you don't have any that are
Not our
in
current.
operation now? Okay, I was just asking because there are a lot. We have some in Dunkin' Donuts, that area.
Tesla, yeah.
Yeah.
That's right.
What's that?
Yeah, these are not Tesla.
Yeah.
So these things are gonna have advertising on them too, or?
Yes, so, and very much, obviously respecting First Amendment, right? But we really operate within our partnerships. So we have an advertising partnership with Haagen-Dazs. We have partnerships with Stop and Shop, that sort of thing. I think with Tanger Outlets too, we'd probably be utilizing, they would probably buy a lot of our advertisement space, especially just given the location. So,
Does it stay on 24 hours a day?
so it does. It does operate on ambient lighting though. So when it gets dark, the screen will adjust automatically.
And are these advertisements that you partner with,
Mhm.
are they of the moving kind, or are they stationary for a certain period of time and then they move? Or are they all three at the same time, or 4 or 5 at the same time?
So they are stationary until they move. And so then they do a very brief, quick flip. It's not meant to imply any form of movement or motion.
Can I ask, are these the type of screens like at the gas stations that advertise on a small screen when they're charging only, or is it running all the time?
It is running all the time.
How big is the screen?
The screen itself, I think the dimensions are on there specifically, but
I thought
You don't know
85
what it
inches.
is? You don't know what the screens are?
Just not off the-
Digital screen.
it's on.
Yeah, cool.
You should know.
They're pretty big.
It's his project.
We do have an ordinance on off-site advertising third
Well,
parties.
off-site signage, that's what I'm trying to figure out,
It's not
is this,
advertising.
what exactly is it? Like, you can go into Shell, or Irving, and as you're pumping, you got that little advertisement of, right, which is not really signage, it's just a little meter that's saying a lot of different things, right? I don't know, everybody must have seen them at the gas station, right? So I'm just asking, is that what this is? Or is it along the whole body of it, is there,
Looks like it's on the body.
signage? I'm
Looks like
trying
the
to
whole
just figure
body.
out what the difference is.
Yeah, it's the whole
Pretty,
thing.
let me see.
Yeah, I can certainly answer. It
You
is
know what I'm saying?
the front of the sign. I mean, of course,
Oh,
our preliminary purpose here is to provide free electric vehicle charging to anyone owning an electric vehicle wishing to charge their vehicle. And I mean, ultimately, by selling advertisement and having that space in a preliminary location, or in a very primary location, excuse me, enables us to cover a lot of those costs.
Yeah, I guess I would see this as signage. I mean, this is an off-premise sign, unless you're advertising for the Tanger businesses. Right, I mean, if this said Tanger Outlet on it, it wouldn't be off-premise, but it still would be more signage than, yeah, it's signage. And that's signage, not what I was thinking of a display.
They just have to meet signage regulations.
Okay,
Which is no off-premise signage, a lot of. So you couldn't advertise for Hannaford at Tanger.
right.
You couldn't, right?
But if it were a Tanger store, if it were Old Navy, you could,
Got it.
correct?
But you wouldn't be able to do Stop and Shop on that sign.
No, I think he used Stop and Shop as another location.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He
just
didn't have
another
Stop and
example,
Shop
but
here.
understood. Yes, got it. Okay, that's fine.
And one more thing, and those signs themselves are lit
Yes, they are lit. Yes.
all the time?
So they are all the time. We can dim them and turn them off at night. That's something that's also can be programmed.
So it's like a screen that moves the signs. They're not, they're stationary, but they clip to different.
I just want to say that there's enough ambient light out there right down at exit 20 that we don't need any more signs being lit all night long. We're trying to keep some semblance of it. My big concern is this thing flashing at night. I'm saying after 9, 10 o'clock until 5 o'clock in the morning, 6 o'clock in the morning. Constantly advertising, bombarding people with advertising. As somebody has said here that, you go and get gas and there's the advertisement going on, and I find it extremely annoying. I don't need that. But you're there to provide service of offering a charging station for electric vehicles. And this service is free, I take it.
Correct. Yes, sir. It is.
Okay. Because some charging stations charge a fee for this.
Correct.
That's to your benefit. Thank you very much. So you plan to recover the cost by advertising?
Correct. Yes.
But
That's what comes-
advertising only for patrons who are in Tanger already.
Right.
Not,
I mean,
Or
businesses and.
people coming off I-93, they're headed up to their lake house. I mean, it's to entice a person to go to make a stop in Banana Republic or wherever, Starbucks, on their way and grab a charge as they continue on their journey.
So would you be advertising off-site businesses on those charging stations?
So not necessarily. We can do a lot with advertisement. I mean, if there are, yes, you mentioned sign regulations, we'll meet those.
Okay.
So if that's something that we need to meet within Tanger outlets themselves to just be businesses that are already in existence there, that's something that we would make a note within our systems to just make sure that nothing else is displayed.
Okay.
because we don't allow off-premise signage.
Yes,
And that's what it would be if you were advertising Stop and Shop in Manchester.
of course.
Okay, so
Absolutely.
just so you know.
And the other problem is that does it start exceeding the square footage of sign space allowed? It might be a
Right, I would have to go through and look at our regulations to see, I didn't realize that the signage was going to be that extensive. And yeah, we'd have to go through, you might have to go for a zoning variance if you really wanted to go forward with this or request a zoning variance. Lighting. I think the board needs to decide whether you want a site plan on this then. Sounds like it's a little more involved than just, when Tesla came, we didn't do a full site plan because they were just putting those small, they weren't doing any advertising, they were limited space, they were low to the ground. You might want to continue this, you might want to see exactly what's going on with signage.
Site plan.
I agree.
How does the rest of the board feel?
Yes.
Or at a minimum, say that it has to meet all the zoning ordinance or
Exactly.
zoning.
Yeah, so let's set them up for a site plan.
Because you've already talked about relocating two of them.
Yeah, 'cause those are pretty tall units.
7 feet.
Yeah.
So you've heard our concerns.
Yes,
And
I have.
and you need to familiarize yourself with the signage.
Mhm. Certainly. And I guess just the other question of just when like, I guess, how does the site plan review piece work here in the town? And what, I guess, is the next step?
Leanne would walk you through
I'm
that.
sorry, I was reading something. Go on,
It's
sorry.
okay. So I guess for the site plan review, I guess just the next steps.
Yep, just submit a site plan review. You've got all
Okay.
your plans done. Need to show, you know, you have the signage, I guess. Be ready to answer questions about specific signage.
Mhm.
You can look at the regulations. I'm going to review them as well. I don't know that we allow all that additional signage now. I think we're going to end up going to the zoning board for this signage. And again, it's a lot of, I mean, you're looking at 12 two-sided lit signs. Is that pretty
Correct.
much what we're adding to this?
Yes.
And they're not
I can
small
with a lot of
signs,
confidence say that
they're pretty
that's
large
not,
signs.
that is outside the ordinance, but I'm just going to see if there's anything that says,
Do you plan to add more units in the future aside from the 12?
Certainly, I mean, this is a phase one approach. I'm not entirely familiar with what phase two will look like. But I mean, certainly we would be back here with that.
let's see, commercial.
Kind of distracting. Okay, this gets congested up here really bad.
Hmm?
This section here. Signage just would be a little distracting, and then with the traffic here, you know, it's
Quite an electric car I'd be parking up there.
I'm sorry. where?
I'd probably spend a lot more time up there.
Right. Yeah. I mean, that's our plan more or less, was to entice drivers to come through and spend money.
I mean, the ordinance right now, one sign permitted to lease, sale, or use for premise on which place to not to exceed a total of 40 square feet. In the event of more than one tenant per complex, each additional tenant occupying 1,000 square feet or more is 20 additional square feet on the same aforementioned signboard. Tenants occupying less than 1,000 is 10 square feet, maximum height 20. You know, that would be the main hangar outlet sign that they're talking about. This is all pretty much outside. I mean, obviously, this is something that is not spelled out in the ordinance because I never thought about signage on charger stations before. So I don't think we're going to find anything in here that addresses that. You know, lighting for signs shall be directed downward onto the sign surface. Social lighting should be limited to 1,800 lumens. Driving for artificial. I don't know how it's going to be constructed, but internally illuminated signs shall be constructed so the top of the sign does not allow light to emanate directly toward the sky. It's to be encased all the way around, which this probably, I don't know. I mean, I can't see the top. And all lights shall be off by 11 p.m.
Right, which is something we can certainly abide by.
So anyway, those are all the things we just need to make sure we. Anything else, John?
No, I think that pretty much covers it.
Unfortunately, it's a little unique. So we're gonna have to do our due diligence to make sure we comply, or, like I said, we're gonna have to go to zoning for some relief.
Certainly. Perfect. I guess what we'll do is just move forward with a site plan review, and I'll get that over to you as soon as possible.
I
Perfect.
think the deadline, the 23rd, is still doable. I think it's the 9th
Okay.
of November. It's the 2nd. The 2nd of November is the deadline, for the 23rd of November.
Okay.
I think I have an application here. But they're online.
Oh, thank you.
Okay. All right.
And the ordinance is online.
Perfect.
Any questions? You can call me.
Excellent. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Do you have any other questions for us?
I don't think I have any at this time, but certainly I'll reach out to you, Leanne, if I do. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
All right, the next order of business is the approval of minutes for October 12th, and I'm gonna request that we table those till a later date.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And,
I have one more thing to change before we
Okay.
conclude.
okay.
I have a question. I just want to, where this has been such a kind of a hot issue in my office anyway, I just wanted to go through this really quick. This is the lighting over at the bus station, not the bus station.
First student.
They want to put 3, so it's been resolved in that they're all on timers, so the lights are never on constantly. So when dusk comes, they go on only with movement in the yard, and then they're on for 10 minutes or less, and then they go out. So that's in the ordinance, so that's been great. I think that's resolved the issue with the neighbors. However, they are they're getting rid of that ugly trailer building that's in the front. First, the office building they're using now is the manufactured. That's leaving, and they're moving over into this building. So 2 questions. They haven't moved yet. They haven't removed this yet. Do you want a site plan when they plan to occupy this building? And they also looking at putting 3 lights over here on this side. And I can pass this around. That will also be on timers. Everything's going to be on timer, not timers, motion detectors.
Are you guys familiar with where it is?
No.
It's right across, almost across from the town garage.
Yeah, by
Oh,
Sierra Lumber.
Yeah, next to
Next
Salem.
to Sarah.
oh,
Yeah.
okay.
I
Past it.
think,
By Ace Hardware right there.
I think they should come in for a site plan. It's my own opinion, because
How many lights and that?
Well, on there, there's 3 existing lights on the Tilton property side that face the ones that I have the circle with the cross where there's existing lights. They've been turned downward and they're on motion detectors now. They're going to be expanding to the other side, so they want 3 lights on the other side. It is a safety issue for the drivers at night, especially in the winter. It's dark at 4:30 when they come back. And I guess there's been some concerns along those railroad tracks with some of the homeless, and they found people in the buses. So some of the women that are driving are concerned. So they want to put those 3. The requirement is 8,000 square feet, 1 per every 8,000 square feet. And that they meet that if you look at because it's 300 feet, John, look, there's 300 feet across, there's 3 lights, that's 100 by 90. 90 by 90 is.
So you did the math.
Yeah, I did the math. 90 by 90 is 8,000. I think they've got enough space to put it. It's just a matter of, I didn't want to have them be putting 3 more lights up and where they had an issue with the other lights. But they're actually, the 3 lights going up are on the other side of the property, not the side that's abutting the residence. So if maybe we can allow them to put their 3 lights with motion detectors on them on the commercial side of the property for safety for those buses that are gonna be on that side for now. And then when they move into the new building or plan to, we have to do a amended site plan for that. And that's a fair, so they don't have to wait to go through the process to get those lights up before dark with the drivers.
So is this building not existent yet?
The building's already there.
There.
Maybe we can have to do a change of use rather than maybe a site plan. There's a building there. I don't know. I think it's vacant. John, do you know?
It was a TV repair place, Phil's TV repair or
Yes,
something.
yeah.
Phil's
then-
TV
Was that
repair.
old, like a little house?
Yeah,
and a
it was a
shed?
little house and they gutted it and
And they're using like a modular for a student, but they're taking that away. And they're gonna be in this, I don't know if they're gonna renovate it or what, but we'll do a minimum as a change of use for that.
I thought I had a picture of what the lights, I mean, it's just, it was ungodly.
Question related to first student. Are they allowed to turn their buses around in private driveways?
I don't know, bus regulations.
I think they have to.
No, I mean, because like I don't have kids at my house. They're turning around in my driveway, turning around and blocking my driveway.
Well, if
sometimes.
you don't want them to, all you have to do is tell them not to.
Okay,
They'll do
okay.
it someplace else.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, I don't know.
Some people put those signs.
It's
You know,
much
turn
safer
around.
to turn around in someone's driveway than it is to turn around at an intersection.
Oh, yeah. No, mine is that we have that, where the hill comes down. So we have people that speed down the hill right at the
Right.
bottom, yeah.
Mine they speed on because of some.
This is their, like I said, this is the only site plan we had on file. He marked up,
They meet all the height requirements for the light posts.
he's bringing down the lights, it's 15 feet is the limit.
Okay.
And he had to bring one down. He was bringing one down and turning it, and then even better, he was gonna shut them all off. None of them are ever gonna be on constant. There's all gonna be motion. So that at night, unless somebody's in there, in the middle of the night, they won't even be on at all, where they used to be on all night long.
And it was like a carnival light up.
Yeah. And I think in the future, I had told him when I met with him and Jason that possibly, along that back fence, they have a rail that runs along the back fence that they use because the buses sometimes have to be charged in the winter. They have little charging stations. They back right up and they've built like they built like a rail with posts, and each post has a cord and they have to plug in. So and then there's a fence right behind it. So there's this rail and there's this fence. And the rail's only 3 feet high. So I said, why don't you put some kind of solar, because they're worried about the backs of the buses.
A light, like a night light too.
Like a night light, right? Or even just a solar pack, little solar pack that like you put in your backyard to, along a walkway. So they're going to look at that as well, which might solve that. You don't need those big lights over the whole yard just so they can see behind their buses, which is really the concern is when the women. go
People
back.
were stealing the catalytic converters.
Yeah. Up and
That's
down.
what the issue was.
Yeah.
That was the issue. I know, isn't it ridiculous that we let people stealing catalytic converters from buses?
They're worth money. Anything that's worth money.
Well, they're only catalytic converters if they're gasoline. If they're diesel, they don't have catalytic converters. I've got a diesel.
Are they diesel? Are the buses diesel?
I don't know.
think they are.
I'm not 100%
I think
sure.
they're gasoline.
I'm not 100% sure, but
Talking about buses.
the idea of,
Usually if it's a plug-in, it's diesel.
they plug the batteries in.
For a trickle charger.
When it's
So that-
cold, right?
Yeah.
When it's
Yeah.
cold.
Yeah, they plug the battery in so they can
Yeah,
give
but
it,
I think
to
they're
give it a
gasoline.
shot.
I think they're gasoline. I
Would
don't
make
know.
more
Pat
sense.
drives one. I'll find out from Pat.
You gotta
Some are
plug it,
diesel, some are gas.
Yeah,
you have to plug a diesel in when it gets below
yeah.
15
Below
degrees.
plugs
Oh,
and-
yeah.
The oil just turns, the fuel turns to gel.
Gel.
That's
Yeah.
basically, it's to heat the fuel in the batteries.
I think anybody that goes out stealing catalytic
I
converters
handle
probably would know
that.
the
Sure.
difference between a diesel, not
Right.
diesel muffler.
Don't matter.
That's a good point.
Mm.
Same amount of
Do you have anything else?
Just my last thing, just information, I got this from DES for Fossad's property, the sergeant that was, the property we walked.
Yeah.
So-
The building next to Fast Cash.
So they responded to what they have to do, their restoration plan. So he was supposed to meet, Mr. Sargent, I spoke to him, he was supposed to meet with the owner to talk about
Where to go?
installing the plan. Yeah,
What did the owner?
They
give
have to
somebody
mitigate.
permission to dump all that stuff there, or did the owner dump it?
I don't think the owner claimed he dumped it. I think the owner just was unaware. But I never spoke to the owner, so they never responded.
DES just took care of it.
Yeah, so this is what they have to do. It's all outlined here. We got a copy, Conservation got a copy. And Mr. Sargent is speaking with the owner to implement the plan. And once it's done they get approval, then we'll move forward. So just so you know that it's still out there, so.
Wow.
And that is all I have.
You know what Fast Cash is?
Wow.
Yeah, by Dollar Tree.
Yeah, the old guy was gonna put.
Oh, those come out every year. It's just, I ordered them.
And they
I order
bought
them
the
every year.
property and somebody.
Yeah, I have them all, right? I have all the years in there. But this year I bought one for everyone, so.
It's a good read.
Lakes Regional Planning.
I know.
It's just-
I'm sorry.
It's just the RSA's. It's the RSA book.
Yeah.
We've
Which you
always
can
gotten
Google.
it.
Yeah, you always spend it.
We've always
I'm
gotten
new.
it. That's
I
why
think we didn't
I
get
don't think we
them.
got it last year.
We didn't get it the COVID year,
Yeah.
so you missed one year.
Oh.
There aren't that many changes. I get the amendments sometimes. I just got the amendments, not all the books. They're kind of expensive. And
And you can Google all that.
you can, but everyone's getting one this year, and I got one for all the zoning members. We have a little new members, and for this board, and I offered purchasing one for conservation. I told Mitchell's I'll get one for conservation.
Thank you.
So they'll be coming. I don't know when they'll come, but they're coming.
Yeah, when I sent the reply on the email, I put Leanne and I had a different Leanne in there. So when you replied, it went to the wrong person. And I'm like, oh, what did I do? Because I put land use and then I put Leanne together and said Lee. And then I'm like, oh.
Yeah, Lakes Region Planning sends us the thing every year to get. I usually buy one for the office anyway, and I get an electronic copy for the office.
Well, I thought we'd always gotten them, so I didn't know. That's why I was wondering why you asked. I knew we didn't get it because of COVID last year, but I
I
thought
asked them,
normally it'd be
I got an
outside.
email.
Yeah, I think they just send them out they blast that
Yeah.
out to,
Yeah.
plus, they just want to sell their books.
Anything else?
I like when we get the emails and stuff, like, they had the, you know how we used to travel for the planning board to way up
Yeah.
north for the conferences? It was just me and Tim, nobody else was there. It was remote, but I
Yeah.
mean, there was a lot of information on there. And then there was a budget one also. Yeah. A lot of new stuff on there, because I wanted that in particular because of the COVID regulations. You'd be surprised what's changing state and federal levels.
Okay, anything else?
Okay.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Wait, let me shut the recorder
I
off.
was gonna say shut that off.
You'll keep these in, so when they come back, you'll have them.
So, Tom, I was going up Marshall, was that you out working in the yard when I walked by with all the other guys?
Why didn't you